Right. Hello people and welcome to another stream. Today we're going to be playing a visual novel called Her Lie I Try to Believe. This is a free visual novel on Steam, so you're free to download it if you want. And, it's free, so go on ahead and download it if you want. Today we're going to be playing it. We're going to be spending like 2 to 3 hours on it. But without further ado, let's just get right into this game. I wonder why I didn't notice at the time the meaning behind all of this. Now that I understand it, I can declare with certainty that my life would have been completely different if I had seen through it sooner. Was I too insensitive, or maybe I simply wished I didn't really understand? No matter. Maybe you will see the truth where I couldn't. It all started in elementary school. Not middle school nor high school, but elementary school. Just to tell how long she's been tormenting me. Yes, a girl. It's always about a girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys. No, it needed to be a girl. Fuck! There is no predetermined time to mark when exactly this happened. It just kinda turned out this way, I guess. The moment I laid eyes on her, I knew I would hate her. There she is. She was tall. Well, not tall, but still taller than me back then. You know how it goes. Her hair was not very long. Boyish would be a good way to define it. But then again, this wasn't a surprise during that time. Her strength must have been similar to mine even. Her features resembled most of the girls. She wasn't special, that's for sure. She had brown eyes, black hair, a cute little girl. And it stopped at that. Just that. Yet there was one thing, one simple thing that separated her from the rest of those pure girls. Her eyes. There was something, and I'm not talking about twinkles or anything of the sort. I'm talking about something darker, something that doesn't belong to a kid. But she hid it, or at least she tried to. And it worked with most people, but not with me. I wonder if she saw the same thing in my eyes. Maybe that's why I felt so much contempt for her. Maybe that's why she answered that contempt with some unknown feelings of her own. I don't know how it happened. Did she provoke me first? Or was I the one pushing this conception as the sole intent of our relationship? The fact that we were rivals. I think it started because she was beating me at running. She was beating me at pretty much everything really, but I think running was more perceivable, and that's why I felt it weighing so much more in my mind. To be beaten by a girl. And it wasn't that she had a talent for running or whatever, it was simply that I was mediocre, and it would have probably been right with me if it weren't for that smile. That smile always teasing me, so brightly so. And it wasn't that compelling either. I mean, more often than not, she would be missing some teeth due to growth, so... But then again, I don't fully remember why she started doing this, but every time she finished before me in a race during PE, she would always look at me with that smile and say, "Better luck next time, Tim." For me, it was the greatest insult for a boy who tries to distinguish himself from the others in an environment such as elementary school. To be beaten and to be laughed at by a girl, there's no way I wouldn't take it personally. So I made it kind of my life mission to beat her at every opportunity I'd get. But sadly for me, I was just an average guy. And while she was too an average girl, she was still slightly better than I was. I think for her it was simply a game. Something to put a smile on her face or feel proud about. Seeing me fail and looking so irritated by that fact, she might have thought I was also amusing myself somehow. It was only when winter came that she understood the depth of my feelings. We were playing King of the Hill on a snow mountain with a couple of kids. I said we, but we weren't friends or even really acquainted with one another. We knew each other's names and that was that. Maybe it made even more of an impact because of this. Because no one was really playing aggressively. We were just kind of pushing each other out from the top of the mountain to claim it our own. But when I saw her, that girl, climb to the top of the mountain and try to take even this fleeting achievement from me, I just kind of snapped. I remember thinking, this is mine. You won't take it away from me. Damn, this guy's vicious. And she didn't. She didn't because I grabbed her with all my strength and threw her to the bottom of the mountain, directly on hard ground. It must have hurt. It must have hurt really bad, but my thoughts weren't there. I was completely euphoric with the idea that I protected what was mine. And I was finally beating her at something. I guess our strengths were really no match after all. The kids were all regrouping themselves around her for some reason. I finally understood that I did something that I shouldn't have done. Their glares on me have told me so, yet I didn't feel bad. I mean, this girl has been tormenting me way more than this. But they didn't know. How could they know? Okay, so I guess this guy doesn't understand what he just did when he did that. He doesn't understand why all the kids gathered around her. Okay. Finally, the girl, Cassandra, got up painfully from the ground. She didn't cry. She didn't try to stir up compassion from those around her. No. She simply looked at me. Look at those eyes. Looked at me with those eyes. That's when I knew she finally understood how I feel. That's when I knew she finally started hating me. She became serious. That rivalry I thought we had was nothing more than normality for her. So, by seriously trying to beat me at everything, she became one of the best students in our class. I could say some stupid shit like I wanted her to become this way because I knew she was faking to be someone else, but that's clearly not the case. The only reasons I ever had in wanting to crush her were simply juvenile and immature at best. I don't think she was fake before by any stretch of the imagination. I just think she had that much potential. Sure, I also became better because of that fact, but she always had the last word in the end. And her smile changed too. There was no longer this faint warmth emanating from it. It was cold, like this thing I thought I had once seen in her eyes. She finally looked at me the way I always looked at her. I guess I opened her eyes, and she then saw me for whom I truly was. I didn't feel bad about it. At least I thought I didn't. If I had any emotion back then, it was probably numbed by this excruciating feeling of being humiliated. Also, she stopped saying her usual line when beating me. She continued saying something alright, but it was no longer that line. Instead, she just said something like, "Are you even trying?" And she would say it as often as she could. It was no longer simply when we were running against each other, but also during our academic reports and even during luck-influenced games. My elementary school life ended with an extremely bitter aftertaste. I became the laughingstock of my class, and I somehow helped Cassandra become even better than she already was. A complete defeat indeed, but there would be other chances for me to prove my worth. I knew there would. A chance to crush her, that is. Man, this guy's mad. Middle school brought some changes with it. Well, not right away, but in the second part of the first year for sure. I became taller. Or maybe she became smaller, I don't know, since she was the sole thing I ever set my eyes on. She became my reference when it comes to any kind of physical changes. I could hardly believe it, yet it was something anyone could have predicted. Me becoming taller than her. For some unknown reason, we still ended up in the same class. We had somehow chosen the same options, disgustingly enough. Our hatred toward each other was still very real. So it was like we had only picked up things from where we left them during elementary school. There's the middle school version of her now. Her hair was longer. She started little by little to take up shapes which made her body no longer be regarded to as one of a kid anymore. Even I could see how beautiful she was becoming, yet I was still repulsed by her. Likewise, I changed in a drastic fashion. I became taller, I gained some mass along the way. Again, I was very much an average guy, like all my animes, but I still tried the best I could to keep my body in shape in order to eventually win against her. And that paid off, or maybe it was just the direct result of those apparent changes, but in any case, I finally started to have the upper hand on her, at least during PE and other physical competitions. I was no longer chasing her, she was now chasing me. Can you at least show a bit of determination? That was my line. What a joke, really. Couldn't even think of anything clever to say, so I stole her line and made it my own. And I wouldn't stop at that. I wanted my back to be as far in front of her as it possibly could. So I decided to start playing basketball to build up stamina and keep my body in shape. In no time I became somewhat popular, and I don't think I was any good really. My whole team was just that bad, that's all. And anyway, popularity didn't interest me. My eyes were still locked on her all this time. Sure, I played the card of the cool kid, faking to enjoy everyone's eyes on me, but it was just another way to get back at her. Cassandra, just her name makes me shudder. She was popular in elementary school, but now she was kinda distant and solitary. Then, look at me and acknowledge my existence. It was how I thought, but every time I looked at her, I looked her way, she never looked at mine. I came to realize that she had lost all interest in our rivalry. It was only natural. I mean, she no longer had any chance when it comes to physical performances. So I decided it was time to change gears. If I wanted to take everything away from her, I would need to build up not only my body, but my mind too. That bitch is ignoring me like that. I'll show you just how much you made me suffer. Right, so when I reached this point, I already played this game. When I read that last line, I kinda already thought about how stupid this hatred towards her is, but, you know, I just bared with the story, so let's do the same for now. It took me a long time to better my academic results, a long time indeed. It was all but natural to me, so in the end I had no choice but to drop the basketball team in order to focus on my studies. The 2 years of middle school ended, but she was still always one step in front of me. One day to the next she would stop teasing me, or even look proud of what she's accomplished. The glimpse of darkness that I once saw in her eyes was now the only thing persisting to be seen throughout her features. High school finally came, but luck was not on my side this time around. We no longer had any class in common. Luck? I wonder why I looked at it this way. Probably because tormenting her gave me so much satisfaction. God damn. It didn't matter though. I could still compete with her in the midterm exams and the likes. All I needed to do was to keep on studying until I felt completely satisfied with my results. My popularity had already degraded almost to the point of being called inexistent. Yet there were still girls that confessed to me from time to time. Every time I would turn them down though, I would turn them down though. If I had time messing around with girls, I probably had time to study even longer than I already was. Nerd! At least that's how I tried to keep myself focused. So you understand how I felt pretty stupid when I saw her with a boy. Until then, she didn't seem to show any interest in the opposite sex. I wonder why it changed now of all times. I wonder indeed. Sure, she was quite good looking, but she was a lot more feminine than when she was younger. No wonder she would be popular with the boys, but with how long I've been watching her, I couldn't think of any other way then. Why now of all times? I was mad. I was disappointed. I felt humiliated. So, does that mean she doesn't need to study as much as I do to beat me? Is that what she's trying to say? This made me put even more effort on my studies. There's no way it's gonna end up the way you want it to be this time. I was sure I would crush her during our next midterms. So you can imagine my surprise when I actually did. The grades of the top 50 were displayed on a sheet of paper in the main hall of the school. Normally she would be in the top 5 while I would be in the top 10, but this time it was reversed. How could this be? I was angry. I should have been happy, but I wasn't. How could I be? This wasn't supposed to be this way. There was too large a margin between the two of us. That was impossible. I remember that right then and there I looked around me, really pissed off. That's when our eyes met. For the first time in at least a year and a half, our eyes met with each other, and while mine were extremely cold, hers were as passionate as ever. And as if she never changed during all those years, she even smiled at me, disgustingly so. I walked in her direction, unable to keep my cool. "What's wrong with you?" I blurted out as if there was intimacy in our relationship, when in reality, it was the first time I spoke to her since middle school. Oh, there she is. "Oh, excuse me," she said to me, trying to look clueless at the reason for my forceful approach. What a great actress she is, as if she doesn't know the reason for me to be all worked up. Is this because of your new boyfriend? Is this jealousy I hear? She's doing this on purpose! Don't fuck with me! Oh shit! I take hold of her collar aggressively and look at her directly in the eyes. I hear others around us talking as though I'm about to hit her or something. They almost... Well, dude, you do seem like you're about to fucking punch a hole into her face, so... They seem almost scared of what I might do, yet she doesn't look scared at all. She reciprocates my stare and waits for my words. What is it with that grade, eh? Are you not taking it seriously anymore? Now that you have a boyfriend, is that it? My grade? So you came to talk to me because of my grade? Her eyes became stern. The inoffensive smile she once had on her face disappeared viciously. Tell me, why? Yeah, this game has some spelling mistakes. Why is she changing all of a sudden? This shouldn't happen. Why, you ask? I don't know. It just ended up that way, that's all. Don't give me that shit. I know you. You know what? She pushed me upon hearing my words. I lost the hold I had on her as a direct result. You know nothing, Tim. You? Whatever. You better get your act together next time, or else Else what? A man interferes. A guy closed in on us and put his hand on my shoulder in a warning kind of fashion. Is this guy troubling you, Cass? Oh no. I shook his hand off of me and walked away without looking back. I'll show you next time who's the best between the both of us. You better prepare yourself. I think she said something back to me, but I didn't hear it. I was too extremely frustrated by her attitude to hear or see anything around me. People probably looked at me the wrong way, but it didn't matter to me. Well, what a beginning. As if everything I've been doing has no value. As if I was ever the only one seeing ourselves as rivals. But this should be okay now. By confronting her like that, I gave her a little push. That's all she needs. Her pride will come out on top in the end. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose to her. I'll show her, just you wait. Cassandra! How stupid I was. Not understanding that the person I thought I hated the most was also the one I needed the most. Is this what we call irony? I had studied for the past 3 years on a multitude of subjects, yet I was so extremely clueless to the most natural things surrounding my life. It was only at the next exam week that I finally realized the obvious flaw in my way of perceiving the world. I was so sure of myself. Oh, for that I was. There was nothing else occupying my mind during all those weeks of self-study and cram school. I'll be fair and square. Last time wasn't a fair fight. She had purposely neglected her studies for something as stupid as love. But now will be different. I guess it's probably because of my obsession with my studies that I had yet to notice something so important. Something I shouldn't have missed. In front of the piece of paper which numbered out the best students, I was searching frantically like a madman for something that was definitely supposed to be there. Oh no! Not there, not there, not there, not even there. What the fuck? That's impossible! She must have changed her name or something, this can't be happening. But no matter how many times I look at it, I was forced to conclude the same thing over and over again. She wasn't here. Whew! She was not in the top 50 choices. In the top 50. I don't know where the fuck I got choices from. Must be from Sergio's latest comment on the stream. I thought that maybe, ridiculously enough, she had skipped a year somehow, even though we're in the middle of a semester. But she wasn't in the top of the third years either. How could that be? I went directly to the ones in charge of those stupid lists. They probably had made a mistake, useless as they were. That's where I heard something preposterous. Something so fucking ridiculous I had no other choice but to snap back at them and insult the lots of them. They told me, and this with the most serious tone there is, that she had quit school a month and a half ago. A fucking month and a half. This guy is in strong disbelief right now. God damn. Oh, god damn my nose. So while I was uselessly, obsessively, foolishly trying the best I could to surpass this girl that I thought was my equal, she was messing around. Probably with boys or whatever, and didn't think of me as even worth the effort. She probably thought she could already have everything in life since she was so fucking good. And she left me here like a fool lingering with this fucking feeling inside of my throat that just doesn't want to disappear. Half fitting with my cold, am I right? Hold on, I'll be back. I'm gonna fucking empty my nose or something. Alright, sorry about that. Just as I finished kind of wiping my nose, friends of mine called me. They were like, dude, we're outside, let's go. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm streaming. I just started my stream, you know? I told them I'm gonna just, you know, hang out with them next time. Or if I finish the stream in time. Anyway, where were we at? Mint tissues. I need to try those. Alright, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to believe it, but it was the truth nonetheless. I was just too fucking blind to see it coming, that was all. Fuck! That bitch! She won even when I was sure of winning. This hopeless feeling that I was so eager to give her was now stuck within me, unable to get rid of it. She was no longer someone I could go head to head with, since she had given up entirely. The random fucks, man. I asked for the reason for departure, and they told me it was something of a personal matter. Probably had something to do with her family, whatever, but I knew it wasn't. Fucking bullshit. It was probably her way to get back at me. Knowing I was finally going to beat her, she just ended up quitting to make sure it never happens. But then I had a revelation. What if I decided to wait for another year? Yeah, that would be a great idea. I just need to purposely fail and then... But then I realized I just topped number 2 in my last academic results. And it was pretty much sure of passing. Damn. This was over. I had lost the one thing that was keeping me going. For a time, I seriously wondered what I was gonna do with my life now that I've lost all interest. But eventually, it didn't matter all that much since I had done this for a good part of my youth. I couldn't easily stop. It's okay, man. If I finish this stream in time, I'm gonna hang out with them anyway. So I just continued studying the best I could with emptiness as my sole source of motivation. High school came to an end extremely quickly. There he is! There he is! Dude, I'm gonna try to finish this quickly and then I'm gonna go out. Just wait. Oh, god damn it. The last day of school, I looked around me and saw a lot of students happily chatting together, probably feeling proud of themselves. Some had boyfriends and girlfriends at their side, their arms around them, as though the world no longer had any secret to them. I was the best of my class, one of the best of the whole school, and yet I knew nothing. I felt hollow. I was already going to the top university. I could see my future without anyone telling me, yet I had lost something by becoming who I am. I know this, but since I'm not one of them, I don't know what that is. Oh. Chapter 2. A group date. Maybe. 2 years. It took 2 years to see her again. By that time, my major, I don't know if majoring is right, was very well underway. As I was starting to be used to the university lifestyle. I was living on my own inside a gloomy one-room apartment for less than a year. I had zero passions and only knew how to do one thing correctly, which is of course studying. As if I was the subject of a curse a long time ago. I didn't know why I was so into it. Yeah, I'll probably have a lot of doors opened up to me in the future, but what if I don't want to enter any of them? I have no motivation to climb the ladder, and surely wouldn't know what to do with all the money being thrown at me. But I guess this type of attitude could attract some people, as if they know talking to you would inevitably boost their own self-esteem. That's how I made my first friend since, well, have I ever had a friend before? I mean, I'm guessing the chat could answer this, could answer the reason to this. Well, it's not as if I was seeing him as a friend either way. He was in most of my classes during high school and took that as an opportunity to start socializing with me during our courses together. I went with the flow, finding my own amusement in his somewhat carefree demeanor. That's when one day, out of nowhere, he decided to invite me to this. I don't remember how it's pronounced. I can't call it a date. A group date, maybe. Fuck it. Anyway, it was this thing where a group of men and women of almost the same age, and logically of the same number, meet with each other for almost the first time in an attempt to find love. God damn it. Dude, I'm coming, okay? Just relax. Just relax. It'll come soon enough. It was obviously a cheap excuse for trying to find somebody to empty your load in. But whatever. To the point I was in, it didn't matter all that much. Trying to fuck someone was, as most of the men my age, any age really, one of my priorities, even though pretty much inaccessible. I didn't get out of my way to try to have sex, and that's probably the reason why I had zero sex life. So I accepted. It was kinda odd though. He said to me, "You want to regret it, Tim? I even have a surprise waiting for you." And he would laugh like an imbecile. He was an imbecile. And I only realized what he meant by that when I entered the bar we were meeting at. You guys ready for this part? They were 7 waiting, 8 with me. 4 boys and 4 girls. 2 of those girls were completely unattractive. Fat or with a big chin and a weird hairstyle. The other one was already almost in bed with that big mouth guy. So those 3 were unfuckable. That was my first thought upon entering the bar. The second, though, wasn't as different as the first one, but was still very surprising indeed. It's her! It was her! She was there, drinking a beer casually, talking with that other guy, sports-like type. Another one unfuckable. But of course not for the same reason. I should just get out of here. This is so pitiful. This is not even funny. That's when Mike, my friend, noticed my rival. Forcefully introduced me to the group. "Oh, this is the guy I was talking about. Hey Tim, come, don't be shy. We were waiting for you." I almost clicked my tongue out loud, but thought otherwise. Maybe that big chin one could be fuckable with a couple of beers. I sat next to my friend. I tried not to look too much on the right side of the table because the symmetry irritated me somehow. He said my name out loud and said everyone else's name right after. I don't remember any of them and seriously don't want to use even the most useless parts of my brain to store one of them. I still politely greeted everyone until it came to that name. And I could introduce you to Cassandra, but I guess I didn't have to, right? Ha! I looked at him, annoyed. He's clearly happy to introduce her to me, as though me meeting her again would make me happy, like it's a gift or something. Why the fuck does he even know the fact that we already knew each other? I said, yeah, with a hand scratching my hair, a bit flustered. Likewise, she didn't look my way all that much and only said hi, with a voice that could be misunderstood as a whisper. I'm grateful for that, even if I harbored hate for her for the most part of my life, and probably still. The fact that she understood my reluctance to face her was what saved the little composure I had left. So I was able to enjoy my beer while chatting with the group of people around me, and it didn't disturb me all that much that she was actually there. It was just that in the heat of the moment I didn't know what to think of. I didn't even understand the feeling I had for her anymore. I hated her for so long a time that for me it wasn't as though she was even human. And the fact that she disappeared completely from my life at one point, my mind only assumed she was dead. So a non-human presumed dead, looking so lively and joyous, it was only natural that I was baffled a bit. Yeah, that's a good reason. She was sexy. No longer cute or beautiful, but sexy. She had a blue shirt which underlined well her overly seductive forms, a black skirt that I couldn't see very well due to the table, and her hair was loose and ended a bit under her chest. I tried not to look at her, but it was hard when surrounded by ugly girls. God damn it. I still did what I must, and I tried to hook up with Jen Girl in front of me. God, this dude. Rude. After an hour and a half, I was at my 4th beer and the first couple decided to finish the night alone. This made things a bit complicated. Now there were me, the fat girl, my friend, the big chin, the sports dude, and whatever, the other girl that I once knew. So it was obviously becoming harder and harder to actually not interact with her. That's when the phone of the girl in front of me, Chin, started vibrating. She became kinda hysterical by I think it was a message that she received on her phone. She said a couple of words to the fat girl seated next to her, and then took off. That fat girl looked at me a bit awkward and said, "Sorry, her ex just texted her, so..." As if it was the most natural, understandable thing in the world. So that ugly chick just dumped me for a guy that was probably flushed her for a while ago. I was depressed, but not for her departure per se. Obviously, at least the alcohol started to do its work. That's when everything started to turn into the wrong direction. My friend, who was seated on my left, in front of the fat chick, was now seated on my right. The sports dude who once chatted with that girl was now enjoying his time with the fat chick on my left. That's when I realized that my friend, without notifying me in advance, started a group conversation with her and me. "So, from where do you two know each other?" I was staring at the table, or maybe at the beer in my hand, trying not to look too interested. I think she answered him something while giggling, but I don't remember all that much. She too seemed to be drinking quite heavily. "That long? Man, I bet you're glad to be able to meet each other like this. Maybe it's fate. Who knows?" He was irritating me. It was so obvious that he was the one who pulled this off. Perhaps they were enmeshed with each other to humiliate me or something? That's when I uttered something that I probably shouldn't have. I don't know why I thought it would be a great idea. "Tell me." I looked at him with a bit of defiance. "How do you know that she and I knew each other anyway?" I looked at his every change in expression. I probably thought he would be confused, unable to explain himself properly. But that wasn't it. He was surprised that I didn't know the reason behind it. Come on, man, everyone in high school probably knew about it. Don't you remember? That nasty girl with her friends who were starting bad rumors about Cass because she quit school? Oh. Fuck! Now I remember. Oh man, I still remember. You were so ruthless! You walked up to those girls and started insulting the shit out of them. About how uneducated they were, how they were wasting their time and had no future. And then you started numbering every achievement Cass ever accomplished. To the prize she won during some piano competition, to the national rank she topped with her academic results. And you know, I'm not one to hit a girl or anything, but this one was asking for it. She didn't try to listen one bit, and was continuously cutting you off about some bullshit she heard somewhere down the street. How ridiculous. This was when I was still very much on edge from losing what I thought was my only drive in the world. Some bitches were bad-mouthing her about something along the line of prostitution or some stupid shit like that. It was the week after she had quit school, so anything goes, I guess. But then, since they had nothing else more useful to do, they started to say some bullshit about her cheating during exams or giving sexual bribery to teachers in order to top higher exams. That's when I lost my shit, because telling those ridiculous things would insinuate that the rival I always thought as my equal was nothing more than a fake. And this was completely unacceptable. Yes, I would have been... Wait, and yes, I would have beaten the shit out of them if it weren't for the teacher meddling with it. True equality. Hey Tim, do you remember what you shouted at her to make her shut up? Oh shit. Enough! Even if she prostitutes herself or even cheats during the midterms, it doesn't change the fact that she's way better than the lots of you. At least she's achieved everything she ever set out herself to do. You low-life bitches will never understand the meaning of the term achievement as long as you still live in this world. Do you understand? You worthless piece of shit. Oh well. I remember down to the very last syllable. I have no fucking clue why though. He said it out loud. Not nearly as perfect as I remembered it, but it was still surprising hearing it from someone else's mouth. I then noticed her blushing by understanding the meaning of those words. This was bad. This was a misunderstanding. I never said this to protect her. I said it because at that moment I knew for a fact that you were head over heels for her. And I found it so tragic you probably never had the chance to say it to her. So you can probably understand why when I met her out of absolutely nowhere at my part-time job. He points casually towards her. I had to try and arrange something out for the both of you. So that's why you invited me here tonight. I was then at my 5th beer. And I was not what we would call a heavy drinker back then. So I was agitated, alright. Just, it was easily concealed by my wasted features, which were naturally more blatant. Yeah, man, what else? We're friends, right? You look so down all the time. I thought this might cheer you up. You didn't have to. Seriously, you didn't have to, you fucking idiot. She wasn't saying anything much. She was looking my way silently. But I couldn't muster the strength to look at her directly. I wondered why she was so silent when she was saying all those things. When he was saying all those things, which were directly related to her. Then... Oh, that's my girlfriend texting me. Sorry guys, gotta go. My useless friend got himself up in a hurry. What? What do you mean? You have a girlfriend? What was he doing here then? Yeah, tonight was for you, man. He approached me ever so slightly, his breath bringing the stench of warm beer with it, and whispered to my ear, "Enjoy yourself, will ya?" And with this, he disappeared without a trace. Well, not disappeared, but I was intoxicated to a point where the actions my mind perceived around me were as though they were made in fast forward. Life and time were moving rapidly without my consent. This was extremely awkward. I turned to my left to ask the other two, you know, what they planned to do. I desperately wanted to end the night right there and then, but... Hey, have you an idea what, there was no longer anyone seated there. Noticing this, I looked around me to realize that she and I were the only ones left at the table. They took off 10 minutes ago, maybe. Or was it 15? Giggle. For the first time that night, I made eye contact with her. Her face was flushed, slightly red by the effect of the alcohol. It would have been visible to a blind that she was totally wasted. I didn't want to speak to her. I didn't want to have another minute wasted in her presence. But social etiquette was forcing me to, at the very fucking least, make sure she doesn't die before reaching her home. Let's get out of here, I said, pretty coldly. She accepted right away. She didn't show any fear of being with me alone, even though we were complete strangers to one another. "Wanna take a cab?" I asked forcefully, but she said, "Let's walk for a bit, alright?" I clicked my tongue, but this time I made sure she heard it alright. She didn't mind, or at least she didn't show it. Oh! Some quality CG. She had a smile plastered... She had a smile plastered on her face ever since we left the bar, not slightly affected by my cold behavior. She looked happy, irritatingly so. We didn't talk at all, we were completely silent, and it was alright with me. It was alright, until she stumbled a bit on my shoulder accidentally. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Her body touched mine. I felt, for 2 extremely little seconds it lasted, the form of her breast on my arm, and then the palm of her hand on my shoulder. It was then that I realized she was a member of the opposites. Okay. The first time I played this, I didn't realize it was... How do I even say this? It just didn't seem this laughable at parts, I guess, but I don't know, man. She looks happy, doesn't she? With the happiness that she stole from me. If she hadn't quit school on that day, I'm sure our expressions would be reversed right now. Yet she's always been one with a smile in the end. While we continue walking silently, but we're somehow closer now that I've helped her back on her feet. Wait a minute, isn't it that kind of situation? You know, the one where I walk her by the closest hotel and she's too wasted to understand. Oh god, what's going on? Maybe if I ask her nicely, she would even follow me willingly. Don't do it, dude. You don't do that. Maybe she's... Oh god, she's still a virgin. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I couldn't satisfy... Oh my god. I couldn't satisfy myself by taking away... Someone read this in my place, please. God. I couldn't satisfy myself by taking away her pride back then, but what about now? I could probably put her and take this away from her. That pride, and most of all, that smile. My jeans are starting to feel tight by those simple thoughts. I take another hard look at her. Yes, yes, what a beautiful body she has. Those hips and those... Even her lips seem obscene right now. It would be a total shame for her to be entirely ruined by a complete stranger. To be completely stained without any means of getting this purity she had back. I could probably play with her over and over until her mind becomes as hollow as mine. It has now reached its complete magnitude. A throbbing sensation is starting to be felt in anticipation for this forbidden act for my thoughts. My thoughts are drowning themselves in. One simple look at me would have probably given it away, but she's too preoccupied with trying to walk straight to even look my way. Imagining such pressure, so tainted with the sin of my imagination, that loose without any restraint, only pushes me further down this unforgiving path that shouldn't be crossed. But I already decided, didn't I? I'm already fantasizing on her purity, only to increase the pain I would most definitely inflict on her. I want to make her cry, realizing that she will lose something she will never get back. At that time, oh man, I will lick every last tear from her face until she's completely drained out. This is okay. My hand approaches her thighs slowly. If I can simply get my hand around her to help her keep her balance as an excuse, I could easily control our destination. That moment will seal her fate, and at that same time I will rip away that smile from a perfect face that I always hated so much. Maybe at the end of the day I will be satisfied enough to forgive her. Maybe at the end of the day I will finally become whole again. The only thing I regret is of not having acted having acted the part at the start of the night. If I faked to be gentle and caring, had laughed with her about how young we were back then, I could have pushed her even further down the road of complete hopelessness by betraying even her expectations. She said softly out of nowhere. I abruptly stopped my hand from getting any further. I didn't notice because I was too focused on her alluring forms. But she was looking at my face. For how long? I have no idea. But she saw it. That I'm sure of it. My disgusting expression. Already tarnishing her with my eyes. And she saw everything. And yet the only thing she said was, "I'm sorry, I knew how much she hated me. Yet Then she stumbled on me again with even less restraint. Her eyes, those eyes, I remember. Were they really this way? It can be. Oh no. I stopped brusquely. By that means, she stopped herself too. Yes, the writing has problems, definitely. It does. Do you have any money? I asked mechanically. Not much. Oh no, he's gonna rob her. She replied as if knowing the question would inevitably be asked. Can't be helped. I pulled out my phone and again mechanically inputted a string of numbers. What are you doing? I didn't reply to her. I didn't even look her way. Instead, yes, at the intersection of this and that. I put away my phone emotionlessly. Tim, I thought it would have been nice to talk for a bit. Don't you wanna? She seems let down. What does this woman want from me? Didn't she see my face just a moment ago? Is she that desperate to be raped by some loser like me? What the hell is wrong with you, man? I take out my wallet and take two $20 bills. Shove it in her hand violently. The taxi will be there in 5 minutes. This should cover the bill. I turn around without waiting or saying goodbye for all that matter. She doesn't say anything either. She simply looks at me with those eyes. Those eyes which are even colder than mine. Huh. Well, that was the end of one chapter. An unexpected encounter. I had hoped to never see her again, and for the better part of 2 years it turned out pretty much that way. I might have glanced at someone with similar features once or twice during that time, but I simply avoided coming closer to that particular person in order to escape the chance of an encounter. I had graduated from college and was now working for a company for less than a year. I diligently focused on my work the same way I did during my time at school. Even though I didn't have any ambition, the way I did my work mechanically, like a machine, was something to be proud about supposedly. At least that's how my paycheck saw the whole thing. My life seemed to have been pretty much set in stone by then. I even eventually found a girlfriend who could deal with my boring self and my even more boring life. So I had someone to fuck a couple of times during the week to efficiently evacuate my stress. I didn't love her. I think she knew. Did she simply turn a... Wait, did she simply turn... You don't say that. Did she simply turn a blind eye? Or was she too using me for her own interests? Doesn't really matter. I don't think she loved me either. Not that I think I would love myself even if I was forced to. Oh! This side looks familiar. You guys remember this? Does it remind you of anything? It was a night like many others. That particular client loved to meet in a peculiar environment, even if it was only to speak business. Not that he was the only one with the special requests. And to be honest, it didn't bother me all that much. It was the third time maybe that I would come to this place. Normally we would meet on a Tuesday, but because of some unforeseen inconveniences, he decided that we should meet on the following Thursday instead. It was a place that could be attributed to the category of adult entertainment, yet it wasn't the traditional strip club like most men would think of when hearing the term adult entertainment. No, it was a place more classy. But don't misunderstand, alright? The theme around the whole establishment was very much sex indeed. And instead of the term prostitutes, the women would bear the name of hostesses, and instead of dancing nude around the pole indecently, well, you don't say indecently. Wow, I didn't know strippers danced indecently, you know? They would simply serve drinks and food to the clients, all the while sitting around the table to fake interest on the client's pathetic life. Some people might probably wonder why such a business would be categorized as something similar to a strip club. But what we need to understand here is that every woman serving in that particular establishment can be bought for the night. The only thing is you need to pay the high price, alright? Those women are high quality prostitutes after all. So I was with the man, speaking of everything except meaningful topics, until the hostess came in. She started asking if we needed anything to drink, but became agitated in the middle of her speech all of a sudden. Probably because she finally understood with whom she was dealing with. Because obviously, it was her. She was there, in front of me, god damn it. Those eyes, this smile, I could hardly believe it. She was as beautiful as ever, and with what she was wearing, a tight, sensual black dress, it was hard not to think of anything else but sex when looking at her. Okay, so all these hostesses, but you only think of sex when you look at this one hostess, which happens to be someone you know. Fair enough. Glass of water, that's a good idea. Hold on. Well, I have a bottle, not a glass, but that's gonna do it. Oh shit, we have Aga in the comments. If that's how you pronounce it. Good taste. Never mind. Those dark urges that made their apparition 2 years ago. The vulgar and evil passion which had driven my mind completely wild back then. Everything that I felt on that single night rekindled instantly. The woman I thought might have been a virgin 2 years ago was working as a prostitute. You just said hostesses. There's a difference, right? I don't know. Or high class prostitute according to the guy. For how long has she been doing this? Again, she made a fool out of me. I fought this urges the best I could on that night, thinking how wrong it would be to subject those evil intentions onto such a pure and delicate woman, when in reality she was strained from the very beginning. She probably even wanted the damn thing, forcing me to pay after the fact. Forcing me to pay after the fact. Okay. How sly of her. How fucking sly of her. Looking down on me like that. Fucking bitch. This time. Oh no. Oh. Oh shit! Can't we speak for a bit? She said, extremely tense. It was now a full hour meeting. Full hour after the meeting at the bar. She and I had chatted with her. Wait, I had chatted with her for a bit. God damn it! Not hiding my complete disinterest in what she was saying, only looking at her body in complete lust. Dude, don't do this. Stop right now, okay? Get some help. I didn't say anything about her profession. Perhaps she thought I was mindful or something. Well, I betrayed that thought tonight. I simply said to her, let's finish the night at the hotel. And that's where we are now. We've literally just taken the first step into the room, and I've already ordered her to take off her clothes. We've just arrived, she pointed out. We should drink some wine to loosen up the mood, don't you think? I don't believe this. That cunt has been spreading her legs for dirty old men for God knows how long. Yet she's reluctant to the idea of undressing in front of me? How long is she going to insult me like this? I don't give a shit about your opinion on the matter. Damn! But she interjects. Oh, God! What's wrong with you, Tim? I said to fucking undress already. Isn't that fucking clear to you? I start shouting frantically. We're both standing in front of one another with her. Wait, with only 4 feet separating us apart. She's visibly agitated by my sudden behavior. Well, I wonder why. Thankfully enough, the exit is behind me so she can't escape easily. Oh no. Right, so the part where she undresses doesn't have nudity, doesn't have, you know, nipples in other words, but I'm still gonna hide this just to be safe. She does as I ask, and she's visibly pained by that fact. While I look at her every movement with those ever so filthy eyes of mine. Okay, so this hold on. So it's not gonna be enough to actually ban me or do some fucking horrible thing to me? Are you sure of that, Metalix? If that's the case, you know, we're gonna continue. Oh, alright, alright. She does as I ask, and she's visibly pained by that fact. While I look at her every movement with those ever so filthy eyes of mine, I'm so absorbed by her that I almost forget how to breathe. Oh no. Guys, I'm getting banned tonight. Oh, what's this? Is this supposed to be your cute side or something? How disgusting. To my surprise, she's not wearing a G-string. She's wearing ordinary panties with some ridiculous motifs on it. Some kind of running shoes or something. Wait, who the hell wears panties with running shoes on it? Yeah, I wear it because, well, you don't like it? I sneer exaggeratedly as an answer to her question. Her eyes fall down in frustration. I start enjoying myself. Humiliating her might very well be what I needed to finally cope with myself. Oh shit, the panties are off! But while those pleasant thoughts start to take form inside of my mind, I finally realize something. She took off her panties, alright, but what is she... Hey! Hey, hey! What the fuck are you doing? She stares at the ground shyly. I just... Stop hiding yourself like that. I want to see every little details. Oh god! Oh god, what's... Dude! Fuck! You hit the nail on its head, Sergio. Stop hiding yourself like that. I want to see every little detail of this slutty body of yours. Aren't you supposed to be proud of it? Showing it to every loser you meet just for a few empty bucks? I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. She was both hiding her breast and her crotch with her arms and hands. She was both. Wait. Yeah, I think this sentence is also wrong. She was hiding. Okay, I'm fucking confused. She was hiding both her breast and her crotch with her arms and hands as though she was undressing in front of a man for the very first time. How long is she going to mock me like this? I don't want it this way. Not while you don't... Ah! I walk up to her, enraged. Is she telling me she can't do it with me? That even though she's literally selling her body and shame away every single day, she can still refuse me of all people? How fucking insulting. And I was even trying to keep a minimum of respect. But now... Oh shit! I pushed her hard on the bed. She fell onto it without any means of fighting back. But even as she's lying on top of the bed completely defenseless, she still tries the best she can to hide herself from me, as if I was the most disgusting and vile monster she saw. Enough! I climbed to the... Well, oh shit. Oh no! I climbed the bed without showing any restraint. The fact that she still hasn't cried out for help surprises me immensely, as I, without a shadow of a doubt, must look extremely terrifying right now. Well shit, if you get a fucking enraged businessman taller than you and like about to fucking kill you in front of you, of course you're gonna be scared of that sight. One that doesn't seem healthy or right in the mind at that. In no time at all, I'm on top of her, desperately trying to force her arms up on top of her head in order to pin down her movements. I finally achieve my end without too much difficulty the moment I remembered that delicacy was not in the dictionary of the monster she thought of me. It's no one's fault except her own. She made me who I am. It cannot be helped. She should be asking for forgiveness. If she hadn't laughed at me for all those years, this situation would never have come into existence. Something inside of me was shouting those things to me, encouraging me in going further. At last, with her arms out of the way, I could finally take one good look at her body. No need to explain that. At that very moment, I was already at my limit and ready to explode. Oh, you guys are starting a fire? Dude, you came just at the right time. We're about to rape a woman. I can't believe I said that, but that's what's happening right now. God damn it. My eyes licked her all the way from the top to the from the bottom to the top. Those long and delicate legs, her slender arms and stomach, those huge impaled breasts, and then, oh no, her face without that smile, her face which was bright red, contorted in a sorrowful expression. She was crying. Oh, for that she was. But those were not tears out of fear for her life. She didn't ask me to let go of her, or to at least be gentle with her. She was just silently crying as if she had given up. TOS, who gives a shit about that, am I right? Just kidding, this should be censored. She was just silently crying as if she had given up. She wasn't scared at all of me. She was just disappointed. Of me? Of her? Of this situation? I have no idea. But why was I even trying to understand anyway? By that point I had stopped myself. For what reason? I don't know. Her behavior was hypnotizing me. I didn't know what to think of it. Isn't this what I was wishing for? It was my fantasy, wasn't it? To take away this smile of hers, this happiness. But now I realize there was never any happiness in that smile to begin with. Oh no. Our eyes met, those big brown eyes full of distress. I could drown myself inside them right there and then, with how tearful they are. They were passionate and they held a darkness darker than my own. Noticing my slight hesitation, she took it as an opportunity to mutter out something. Something faint, something almost inedible. Something incredible. I loved you. I always loved you. What the fuck is this cunt babbling about? Tim! You piece of shit, god damn it! Yet, though I didn't want to hear her bullshit, she kept on opening her mouth and closing it as though she was saying intelligible things. I wanted to at least say it to you. I wanted I want you to know how I feel. I know how much you hate me. It's so easy to see, but I absolutely needed to get this off my chest. Now I'm ready. Just please stop looking so sad like that. You don't need to get out of your way to make me understand. You don't need to act anymore. She wasn't scared at all. I was nothing to her. Those eyes were telling me this. Oh no. I started laughing dryly like a maniac. She's continuously harassing me even in this situation. She saw through me with ease. I was never a match for her. I let go of her dully, get off the bed slowly and turn away from her. Completely defeated. You thought there was gonna be rape, but there's none. There's none. God damn it. Still, I was laughing like a broken record. I was laughing. I try to speak, but I guess I'm not totally prepared for it yet. I take another breath and try another time. Get out. There's no use anymore. All I ever wanted was for her to feel as hopeless as I do, but now that I've noticed that her hopelessness was greater than even my own, there was no point in doing this anymore. There was nothing left for me to take away from her anymore. There was never anything for me to take away from her in the first place. How fucking pathetic. Right? I don't wanna. She said with decisiveness. I didn't see her. I didn't have the courage to look at her anymore. But I knew what kind of face she was making. Get out, you fucking bitch! Wow! Talk about abuse. To that, she hugged me from behind. It was an awkward hug, something normally only an inexperienced teenage boy would uncomfortably do to his first girlfriend. Yet I felt her strength, her determination. How irritating. I turn around violently. I take her perfect visage roughly in my left hand, put my strength on hold, push her on the wall beside us. Jeez! All the while making sure she feels the pain with every motion I make. Don't you understand? If you stay here, I'll break you! My face was extremely close to hers. I could have literally eaten her all up right that instant. Yet she didn't flinch. She didn't look away from my fully dilated pupils, whatever. She didn't show any signs of pain, even though she was definitely feeling quite some. She was now showing me her true self for the first time in all those years. And at that very moment. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I noticed that out of the both of us, I was the one who was really frightened. Man, what a twist. Chapter 4. The explanation I didn't need. Oh, well, okay. Okay. Alright. I don't remember much about that night, or maybe I just don't want to remember. The only thing I can say for sure is that there was something I found out about myself on that day. Something I probably shouldn't have. As I was about to leave the hotel, it must have been about 5 AM the next morning, Cassandra stopped me casually and said, "I want you to come back and see me next week, alright?" And my reply to that was, "Not a chance, idiot." She flashed a smile nonetheless. I wonder if she knew. I wonder if she knew she already had me. Oh. After that, I met with her on the same day, once a week. We would drink together at that bar she's working at, and we would always finish the night at the same hotel right after. It must have been around the third week that I finally decided to ask about it. She was speaking to me at great length, like always, just after having sex. I was sitting on the corner of the bed, listening to her half-heartedly, while sucking on a cigarette. Yeah, I was a smoker by then. I took the habit out of nowhere, probably to look even more pathetic than I already was. We should go see it together. They say it's the movie of the decade. Shut up. I said to her brusquely in reply, "Yet, I wonder if you'd pay for my entry fee. I bet you would. You're that type of man after all." Okay, the line where he says, "Yeah, I'm a smoker," that was funnier than it should be. She was laughing and smiling like always. I first thought she would stop acting this way the moment she finally showed me her true self, but she betrayed my God damn it, my expectation. She's exactly the same whether we're alone or not. The only time where she behaves differently is when we're having sex. She would fixate me, always in the eyes, with a frightening passion. Normally I'm the one who's cold and violent, but when we're having sex, she could very well be seen as disturbed as I am. I wondered then why she was always smiling. Was it fake or was it not? Even I, who know her better than anyone else, have no clue. Dude. Dude. You know how I was gonna stream Nurse Love Addiction? If you think this game is bad, I think it's safe to say this has nothing on Nurse Love Addiction. Okay? It really has nothing on that. If you think these motivations or decisions are stupid, let me tell you right now, they're absolutely not the worst out there. I just wanted to say that. How can someone as empty as her smile so thoroughly like this? I badly wanted to know, but why? Why was I even involving myself with the likes of her? It's not like my feelings had changed all of a sudden. I still very much hated the thing she is. I didn't understand myself anymore. Still, I needed to know. So without thinking much, I asked her something for the first time since almost forever. I asked her something I wish I hadn't. Why did you end up this way? She was surprised. Obviously, I disturbed her while she was speaking, but her surprise didn't come from that fact. She looked at me and smiled at me silently for a time. Not with that smile. A smile as though she had won something. A smile as though there was hope somewhere, somehow. Okay, reading this line... Reading this line kind of makes sense, considering the ending, but I'm not gonna say what happens. I'm just gonna say that, you know, playing this game again, you do understand some parts, or, you know, how do I put it? You understand the relation to some things from the beginning to the things in the ending. Anyway, smile as though there was hope somewhere, somehow. She was just genuinely happy, I think. Or maybe there was something with that smile that I didn't understand back then. All I knew was that she was waiting for that question. Oh yeah, the soundtrack for this is pretty nice. So she told me her tale, some stereotypical bullshit I didn't want to hear. Her father had a lot of money when he was younger. He was some kind of successful businessman or investor or whatever. I didn't listen all that well, to be honest, but he had enough money to get by, was the term she used, whatever that meant. And in 5th grade, out of nowhere, Cassandra started showing interest in her... Wait. 5th grade, out of nowhere, Cassandra started showing interest in her studies, so much that she was at the top of her class every following year. Seeing her grow to become such an outstanding woman, her father had decided to invest in her by starting paying for her later education, some kind of prestigious university or something like that. Didn't even know you could pay for such a thing so early in the game. Anyway, now for the plot twist. Her father pretty much lost everything by trying to invest in some real estate market bullshit. Wrong time, wrong place, that's what they always say. So sure enough, now that he was poor as shit, he started thinking about the investment he made on his daughter. The problem is, such an investment takes a really long time to pay off. That, and the fact that it's your fucking daughter, you piece of shit, she deserves at least that much. But anyway, he kinda started mistreating her by blaming his sorry ass on her failure to graduate sooner, and by that time, the fucker got on his feet even dirtier by gambling away the little he had to subsist. So in the end, drum roll, she was forced to quit school and started working. At least the good man who her father owed money to was kind enough to show her a high-paying job she literally couldn't refuse. And that's pretty much it. Now for a test of my fucking conscience. If I hadn't started forcing my ideal of rivalry upon her, would she still have ended up like this? Or better yet, even if she did, couldn't I have done something for her? I mean, in high school, like I had kind of noticed that something was strange, but did nothing nonetheless. So is it my fault? Maybe, and so what? It didn't affect me in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Yet I still wish I hadn't asked her this. One of the things... Oh, hold on. One of the things he was always saying to me before he died was, "You're the golden egg that never hatched." The definition of useless. I get up from the bed. Oh, I need to go now, I said, though I didn't really need to. That fast? But I want to be with you, and you paid for the whole night, and... She was sulking, puffing her cheeks like a child. If I weren't an asshole, I would probably have found her behavior cute. But my only thought to that was... You're disgusting. I took my keys on the coffee table and left, her words still hanging. You'll come back next Thursday, right? Oh, shit. Closing the door behind me, I stayed for a time there, motionless. My hands were clenched tightly in a form of fist. I was frustrated for some reason. If I'd stayed there for a minute longer, those fists would have probably been thrown at her. God damn, dude! Fuck! I had a hard time understanding myself. If it hurts me so much staying around her, why was I always coming back to this place? Am I yearning for this? This pitiful excuse for a relationship? I had a vague idea as for the reason behind my illogical behavior, but I didn't want to think it was true. Because this would mean my whole life was even more of a joke than I first thought. Oh. Chapter 5. I think the game has like 13 chapters or something. The 7th week marked a change in this stupid routine of ours. By then we were already no longer meeting at her workplace. Instead we would simply meet at directly at the hotel room. Yeah. Later on the chapters go on pretty fucking quickly, so maybe that's gonna help you get through this. Right, so later on they met at their hotel room, which means we could see each other at a more appropriate time than in the middle of the week, and I would no longer have to pay for her fees as well. And this I found very shady indeed, because the reason we only saw each other on Thursday was because she worked only on that particular day, but that doesn't make any sense, does it? How is she able to subsist for herself if she only works once a week? Sure, she may have another job somewhere, or more like she definitely must have, but every time I ask her she simply denies it, and I won't go out of my way to get the answer out of her. I don't care enough for that to happen, but it's still nagging me somehow. Because you love her, dude. I entered our room nonchalantly like I always did. She was waiting for me on the couch at the far back of the room while looking at her phone, like she always did. Oh, you brought us food. You're so the legend. How you didn't forget a fork this time around? She throws herself at the bags I was carrying like a bundle of energy. Oh wait, god damn it. She throws herself at the bags I was carrying like the bundle of energy that she is. Hey, this is my lunch, you idiot. You say that, but yet there are 2 bags. You're not so honest to yourself. Man, she's such a kid. Your fork is in the... Wait a minute. Huh? Where is it? She doesn't look my way. She's too engrossed in searching the content of the bag frantically, with question marks hovering on top of her head. Or at least that's what she's trying to make me think. I dropped my keys and jacket on the floor right then and there. I took her right arm forcefully, enough so for her expression to contort in pain. With my right hand, I pushed her chin upward to better see the features of her face. What is it? We're not even in bed yet. You're so naughty today. She says teasingly. Shut up! Oh jeez. She stops speaking instantly by my powerful words. I softly brush around her left eye with my thumb. Her eye closes instinctively by my touch. Even if she applied makeup to hide it, it's still very much visible. I don't remember having done this to you. Who did this? This? It's nothing really. It doesn't hurt, see? She pushes 2 of her fingers against the corner of her left black eye. And though her words say otherwise, she still looks in pain the moment she applies pressure on her skin. Answer me! She simply looks down, almost ashamed of herself. Instinctively, I try to put my hand on her waist to comfort her somehow, but the moment my hand touches her body, I see her grimaces slightly. Wait, grimace slightly, right? I take her shirt and lift it up without minding destroying the damn thing. And sure enough, there are dark marks all over her waist and belly. Marks that only a man could have done. Answer me, goddammit, who did this to you? Well, she thinks carefully about her next words. Oh. You know, sometimes clients can get out of hand and... Which one? I don't know him. It was the first time I saw him and I don't remember his face. My grip on her only tighten... Wait, my grip on her only tighten up the more she... Oh, the more she... words she adds. Oh boy. Alright, the stream should be fine now. I think it was lagging a bit. Isn't it your employer's job to make sure those things don't happen in the first place? Even if that's the case, it doesn't change the fact that I have a black eye, right? Please, let's not talk about this, alright? I want to enjoy myself. I've literally been waiting for today all week. I didn't answer her, nor did I look her way. I was lost in thought. I didn't understand why I was so frustrated. It was uncontrollable, and I know I shouldn't act illogically, but that doesn't mean you... But that doesn't mean you know something yet you automatically apply it to your thought. Okay, this sentence confused me when I first played the game as well, so let's kind of skip it. Fuck! That's the perfect thing to follow it up with. Is this because you don't like this? I can try to apply more makeup if you want. Oh shit. I'm sure you won't notice it when we'll be having sex. God damn it. It hurts her. I should let go of her. If I continue on... God damn it, come on, internet. If I continue on adding pressure on her arm like that, it will definitely swell up. Yet. Come. What? Are we leaving already? And what about the food? You can eat it in the car. Now come. But it will be cold. And where are we going anyway? Far from all of this. Really far from all of this. Oh shit. Hey! It's the end of a chapter. Toward the unknown. They're going far away. It was an impulse. It had already been 2 hours since we left the hotel. Oh. I was driving in the middle of the night, not knowing where this road was going to lead us. She'd stopped talking and asking me questions for a while now, only looking through the window motionlessly. She still hasn't touched her food yet. She was mad, maybe? It was too dark for me to really see her expression from the angle of her face. Still, I was curious about her thoughts right now. She, who never showed a true color. What lies underneath her carefree and good-natured demeanor? Maybe something like me? But her silence was too good to be true. Soon, her mouth started moving again. You're really doing this, aren't you? Do you even know the impact of this choice you're about to make? I don't care. Then why are you doing this? If you don't care, I'm doing this because I can't stand seeing you like this anymore. That's why. Don't you understand that this life of yours is not worth living? If this continues on like this, they're going to... To what? Kill me? Break me? Why should you care? Shouldn't you be rejoicing? After all, you hate me. Shut up. But it's the truth, isn't it? Shut up! Oh no. I shouted at her. I didn't want to have this conversation. I didn't even know the answer myself. All I knew is that I needed to get as far away as possible, as soon as possible. Is this because you feel responsible? Is that it? Then I'm going to clear things up once and for all. This has nothing to do with you. It never had. This has always been my father's fault to begin with. This is not your responsibility, you understand? I'll be the one judging on that. They are the mafia, Tim, and I owe them a lot of money. If I disappear like this, they're going to pursue me and find me. And if at that time you're there with me, they're not going to let you off easily. They're going to... She stops talking. From the corner of my eye, I can see tears rolling down her cheek uncontrollably, as if the thought of my death alone was enough to make her cry. What of it? I can sense her powerful gaze on me the moment those words leave my mouth. Anger, something I've never seen throughout her features, no matter how I treated her, has now been triggered by those simple and trivial words. Don't you understand how dangerous this is? They're going to kill you. You have a girlfriend, don't you? And a job you worked so hard to obtain? If you persist in trying to save me like this, you're going to throw away everything you've been trying to build your whole life. You can't sacrifice all of this with something as stupid as... My foot slammed the brake pedal with all its might. The scream of the tires stretched out for a long 5 seconds. For 5 long seconds, jeez. until the car finally stopped completely. I then I then leaned on her, unlocked her door, and opened it in one single motion. If you don't like this, then get out. We're still close to a bus station. You can probably manage to return to the city before morning. I made my decision, and I don't plan for you to understand it. Responsibility toward whom? You? Don't make me laugh. I'm doing this for myself, alright? She muttered one single word. Liar. How stupid can you be? I ain't fucking lying, you dumb bitch. Dude. Language. Jeez. A girlfriend? A job? A life? I have no interest in those fucking things. I always felt completely empty. All this fucking painful life of mine has always been one big recurring joke. No. I've been waiting for this kind of opportunity all my life. It just so happens that it is tonight. Now, you follow me and become my partner in crime, or you get the fuck out and return to that hell you proudly call your life. She looks at me in the eyes, the same way she always does when having sex. She has no smile, she has no expression, she has no happiness. The purity with which she's always been looking at the world around her is nowhere to be found, as if it was always but a fleeting illusion. This is the real her. She doesn't shift her cold gaze from me while closing her doors slowly. I've waited for this my whole life, and there's no way I'm going to let it get away from me like this. Let's go. Oh shit, she's joining us. We're having the romantic eloping. Those are her words. Powerful, without any hesitation. I don't say anything back, I'm not able to. Her determination seems dangerous somehow. Oh, hold on. Her determination seems dangerous somehow. So I just unconsciously started driving again, as though this whole conversation never took place. I break eye contact with her to focus on the road. Is this maybe what they call eloping? It's exciting. Giggle. The moment my eyes fall back on her, she has the most beautiful smile I've seen in this world. Oh man, hold on. Right. Oh, next chapter. Chapter 7. Eloping isn't the word. Just a sec, checking my phone real quick. Okay, so the thing is, I personally don't think you guys can give like an opinion until you see what happens in the end of the story, right? Well, that's a given, I guess, for any story, but this story really hinges on it, you know? It's not what it seems. And, I've read one story that was also kind of not what it seems, but, you know, I don't know how to put it. But love, quote unquote, can be really fucked up. This visual novel is one example of it, and I've also read another novel, not a visual novel, but one that I took in university. That one was also really fucked up. There was a guy that, you know, he travels to England to study, he falls in love with a lot of women, and all these women, like, after he sleeps with them, has sex with them and all that, each and every one of them, you know, kills herself. And you're like, why? Why, you know? If what my teacher said is anything to go by, apparently they felt too attached to him. They didn't want to let go, I guess, so that's why they committed suicide. But still, it gets worse than that. He met one woman in particular that, you know, one woman that didn't fall for his charms, okay? And because of this, because of the way that she didn't actually fall for him, like the way every other woman he met has, he actively follows her. And he tries to earn her love, but she's abusive as all hell. She's abusive as fuck. But even still, this guy decides it's a good idea to fall in love with her. Even still, this guy decides it's a good idea to fall in love with her. And, you know, it continues being a cycle of abuse and fucking horrible love, I guess you can call it. I don't know. That's love to them. And eventually, at the end, he's had enough of it. He comes back from work, and you know, there's a lot of things there's a lot of things that she put him through, like cheating. She cheats, like in front of him. Like he knows that she cheats on him. She doesn't hide it. She humiliates him in public, and you know, all of these twisted things that are anything but love. But this guy was still fixated on her. So one day he came back from work. He was really fucking pissed at you know, he reached his limit, and he had a knife in his hand. She knew what was going on. She didn't run away. Oh no, she didn't. She was laying there in bed, and you know, she was accepting what was about to happen, and she was like, do it, do it, do it. This guy was hesitating, but you know, she was like a demon, really. So she goes, do it, and things like that. And you know, at the same time, she was saying things like, I love you. See, there's a lot of fucking incompatibilities here. But what happened is that he basically has sex with her at that time, and freaking, she asks him to kill her right there and then. He takes the knife, he stabs her through the heart, and that's love, I guess, to her and to him. That was what love was to them, you know? It's not something that we understand or we advocate, I guess, but see what I mean? This is nothing new. There are pretty damn crazy people out there. Twisted people that you just don't understand. But, you know, stories like that are not gonna cease to exist anytime soon. It's just the fact that there are really, really twisted definitions of love with people. But anyway, I've spoken for long enough. I apologize for that. After driving for half a day, we finally stopped in a cheap motel to rest and regain some of our energy. At the same time, I took this opportunity to collect my thoughts. While this situation might have started as a brainless and impulsive act, keeping up with this attitude will only bring us down in the long run. In the end, we might need a good plan if we want a good shot at this. I first thought we had a good amount of time ahead of us, but this assumption was a big mistake of mine. By asking for a bit more details, I found out that Cassandra was living with another hostess from that bar, so even though she's working only once a week, the other girl will soon find out about her disappearance. I could have asked her to try and contact that girl and maybe convince her not to say a word to their boss, but this would have been too big a risk for only postponing the inevitable as a result. Ultimately, I think trusting someone will only trigger the start of our downfall. Wait. I think I can say that I basically had the same impression as you when I went into this, until the ending, Sergio. But the ending kind of changed it for me, I guess. I don't know. We'll see if it does the same for you. Like, yes, I'm not saying that, you know, this is perfect. This is not perfect. You've seen the kinds of things that we've read. You know, there's a lot of unnecessary swearing. This guy's obviously not normal. He at least has anger issues. What else? There's there's just some, you know, lines that could have been handled better in general, but, you know, just bear with me for the time being. Look at her. She's carelessly sleeping beside me while I'm the one stressing out about all those things. She doesn't seem to care all that much since she showed me that determination of hers. Seriously, what am I doing? Getting out of my way for what? This? Sleeping in this cheap-ass bed, eating this disgusting convenience store food? This is all her. No, what am I thinking? No matter how I look at this, I choose to do this out of my own volition, right? I shouldn't hold it against her. Still, I know there's darkness in my heart that I've yet to get rid of. That darkness was just whispering to me to destroy her. Again, Tim, fucking don't do that, okay? So, did you choose where we're going, my love? She says shamelessly the moment we enter the car. Stop that, it's disturbing. But we're eloping, I can at least call you that much, right? No, we're not. Eloping would mean that we're about to wed, and we're clearly not. But I wanna wed. I love you, and we're going to live together from now on, so... She puts her head on my shoulder while smiling brightly. So what? There's no logic behind your words, and get off of me. I shake her off without any consideration for her feelings, or even her well-being. Bo, you're no fun. God damn it, Tim. Loosen up, you know. She sticks out her tongue like a little kid before turning her attention toward the window, sulking. I'm a lot like you, Meepy. I like happy endings. I love happy endings. And bad endings, or, you know, yeah, bad endings really leave a bad taste in my mouth afterwards. And that's just one reason why I prefer in any game that there is a good ending. But sometimes, you know, there's those games that just interest you. You want to see what they're about. Like, you know, good endings are amazing and all that, but sometimes you want to see dark-themed stories, I guess, dark-themed games. This is just one of those instances for me. Man, she's a handful. I've decided our destination. I've thought about it for a long time, and what do you think of Las Vegas? She instantly looks back at me, sparkles in her eyes. God damn it. So, does that mean we're finally really going to get married after all? I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas. Back off. I've decided this out of convenience for us, not for your little fantasy. So you say? What a tsundere. Well, I knew how much she wanted to go there, but she talked about it more than once, so I might have taken that into account. But I'm not actually going to say that, am I? Aw, Tim. But I don't understand. Shouldn't we try to go to some unknown villages instead of going to such a big city? Try and lay low or something? Aren't we asking to be found if we go there? Not exactly. The best place to hide a tree is inside a forest, right? Logically, when you think about someone trying to escape from a group like a mafia, you think that this person is going to hide in some distant place, far away from urban civilization. That's exactly how his pursuers are going to think too. Oh, damn it. So naturally, they're going to first search those uncivilized areas. You understand where I'm going with this. Yeah, but while it does look all good on paper, it doesn't mean it will go that smoothly. That place is known to be run by criminals, right? So it shouldn't be too far-fetched to think that they have ties to our pursuers. If we're going to a small place, village or whatever, we're going to attract a lot of unwanted attention. They all know each other in those places, you know, and look at us. Not what we would call countryside people, are we? If you say so. She doesn't seem to buy it. She's scared. She shouldn't be. One more thing. I need her to understand this perfectly, or else none of this is worth it. Even if they find us, it doesn't change anything, does it? In the end, both our lives have never been worth living. I won't live my days in such a boring place as a village, or crawling in fear inside a hole somewhere. My life has been nothing but boredom already, so... She looked at me clueless. Let's try and have some fun, shall we? She regains that smile of hers so naturally. Wait, who said that? Oh, Tim. A beautiful, pure, bright smile. That smile that I would have done anything to destroy before. I was now the source of its existence. I should feel flattered by this. I should, yet how disgusting. Next chapter. Las Vegas. It took us another day and a half to arrive at our destination, so 3 days all in all. Since it was on Friday night that we've eloped, like Cassandra loved so much to say, we were now obviously... Monday, late in the evening. The moment we've entered the core of the city, she became ecstatic. At every street corner she would be like, "Oh, look, 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 it's so beautiful." Or again, "I want to go there, let's go there, alright?" And every time I would just keep my eyes on the road, half listening to her. And when I feel like she's pestering me too much, I would simply say something like, "We need to find a place to crash first. Be patient, alright?" She was so excited about trivial things that I started wondering what kind of life she has led up until then. She was a prostitute, right? Then why do I feel so much like I'm with a kid somehow? Was it really a good thing to bring her with me? To bring her to such a place? One thing we didn't have to worry about, though, was our budget. I had lots of economy from my old part-time job as well as my current one. Well, current might not be the case anymore, but whatever. Since I lived my life up until then pretty much modestly, more like pathetically, I had more than enough for the both of us for quite a respectable amount of time. Obviously, the first place we decided to hit was the mandatory casino. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to see here, so... We drank a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean we didn't as much think of ever stopping throughout the night. She looked at everything with eyes full of curiosity. The old people on their slot machines would be very intriguing to her. She could gaze at them for 30 minutes without end. And when I asked her if she wanted to try, she looked at me with a smile and said, "They look so pathetic, it's almost pitiful. But when you think about it, aren't we the same? We pass our lives routinely doing the same emotionless movements, forgetting even the meaning behind it. I wonder if there's a God, wouldn't you look at us with the same pity?" Okay, I'm gonna say something. This might be true for a country like Japan, but otherwise, yeah. I walked closer to her, put my hand on her head, and looked at her silently. I wanted to somehow comfort her, but no word came to mind. That's when she continued. As long as we're together, let's not do this, alright? I want this to be special. Us. You don't need to force yourself, you don't need to love me, but at least make sure we never forget, alright? Never forget the reason we're here right now. Alright, never, I promise. took her by the hand and led her throughout this maze of bright and colorful machines. But was it a good thing to ascertain her wish? I mean, not forgetting the reason why we're here would mean we would be always fearing to be found, always running. Or maybe that's what she wanted. She would also look at me with great interest when playing blackjack. She didn't know the rules, but the moment I explained it to her, she would try and help me sometimes. And she was smart. Oh, for that she was. I almost forgot how she was at the top of the top of our school once. To think she has become so innocent. Or maybe she's always been. But the way I imagined her at the time, I thought she was a strong-willed woman that could do anything if she put her mind to it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. She was fragile, delicate, and pure. Any man would have been better for her. Any man. Yet she was unlucky enough to choose me out of all of them. The moment we started to become really wasted was the moment everything started to slowly crumble. Oh shit. I had to go to the washroom because of the alcohol, obviously. And the instant I got out of it, I saw her speaking with another man. Well, okay, she wasn't speaking to him more than he was trying to hit on her, but whatever. Her eyes were different than when she's with me. She had a stern expression, cold as ice, so it was obvious she was trying to get rid of him, but he seemed persistent. I came up to them and asked her if she knew him. I don't, he was actually about to leave, right? Oh, so he's your boyfriend? Sorry, man, it's such a beautiful woman you have there. I couldn't pass by her without at least trying. He looked at me with that expression, as if what he did was the most natural thing in the world. Also, Joel, go for a smoke then. Or smoke where you are, I don't know. What did he ask of you? I asked her plainly. Nothing. Answer me! I shouted, not minding the people around us. Obviously, most of them did turn around by my sudden outburst. She didn't want to answer, but knowing me, she finally looked down and said, he asked me how much it was for the night. You just treated her as a prostitute? I'm sorry. He repeated back again. But as I said, she's a very attractive girl, so leave. I said emotionlessly, without waiting. I repeated the order. I said leave. He replied to me, okay, no need to be so cold, jeez. You're meant to be together, you two. I wasn't talking to you. Cass, leave. Wait for me outside while I deal with this bitch! Oh! Oh shit, dude. Now that was a comeback. What did you just say? The man became visibly agitated the moment he understood my words. No, Tim, come with me. I don't want to be alone. I don't care how he treated me. Just come, alright? Let's stay together. I took a stance, no longer minding her presence next to me. She started hugging me from behind, probably by fear of me jumping on the guy. What are you doing? Stop, you idiot! Oh, shit! But before I could finish my sentence, I was hit in the face by the man in front of me. He probably took her action as an opportunity to hit me by surprise. I almost lost my balance, but was somehow able to keep my ground. If I stumbled right now, I would fall on her. A second hit came, and I had no choice but to take it yet again. I fell on a knee. At that moment, she finally understood what was happening, as she decided to protect me from up front instead. Leave him alone. Don't you see he's not in any position to fight? The guy did not stop her. The guy did stop by her words, but he did say something along the line of, "Next time, know with whom you're dealing with, punk," before leaving as though he just conquered the world. I stayed close to the ground for some time while she kept on hugging me. I sensed rage welling up inside of me, and the only thing she thought to say was, "I'm sorry, baby, I'm so sorry." Her useless apologies only fueled my anger. I got up from the ground without looking at her and started walking toward the nearest bar. I wanted to be alone. I knew what would happen if she kept on following me. But sure enough, there was nowhere for her to go. I drank a couple of shots on my own. She was sitting next to me, but I ignored her. She didn't ask for a drink herself, nor did she start a conversation. But she kept on looking at me. I was the center of her whole world. That's how I felt that very moment. After that, I went outside dejectedly. I was so drunk, I don't even know how I was able to walk so straight. That is, if I really was walking straight to begin with. It was nighttime, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. She was shivering somehow. She repeated that she was cold multiple times over. I didn't really understand how it was possible since it was relatively hot at that moment. Do you get really hot when you're drunk? I thought that might be why he was feeling hot, because it doesn't get explained, I think. Unless you know, they really mean that the weather was genuinely hot, but she was saying it was cold for a reason that she's not trying to say. I lit a cigarette and simply looked at one point in space without thinking of much of anything until... Hold me. Please, I'm cold. She wanted me to hold her, ridiculously enough. Get lost. Jeez. She was annoying. But I want to be close to you, please. She didn't change gear even though I was being so frigid toward her. She never did, but tonight it was even more than that. She outright showed her dependence on me. No. She approached me nonetheless. The moment her hands touched me, I pushed her hard to the ground. She fell on her butt, her face slightly contorting in pain. Others were looking at me. It seems like I was the bad guy tonight. I couldn't care less. I didn't feel anything. I looked at her emotionlessly. She staggered back to her feet. And when she did, she kept her smile on her face, only looking at me. She walked again toward me and said, again. She wanted to be pushed again. What the fuck was her problem? Well, not that I really minded. When she touched me again, I pushed her in the same fashion I did before. She again stumbled on the ground, got back on her feet and walked up to me. I started laughing. How the fuck was she so stupid? Doesn't she understand how mad I am right now? Do I even understand it myself? I pushed her. On the ground she was laughing, like me I guess. But this time she had a harder time getting back up. People were eyeing us as though we were not part of their world, another species entirely. You're such an airhead sometimes. Wow. My anger had totally dissipated thanks to her stupid act. I helped her back on her feet and we entered this casino anew. And she was happy. She had locked arms with me and she was holding me so tight I had no other choice but to leave her to her own devices. She walked past a multitude of tables, all of which had different ways of carelessly losing your money. She took notice of one in particular. I want to try this one. Give me 20. Alright. Gave it to her happily, somewhat intrigued by her sudden desire to play a game. Since we've gotten here, she was always simply looking my way, happy to see me gamble with no interest in participating herself. She puts the chip the croupier gave to her on the number 0. Wait, you do know how it works, right? Yeah, what of it? You know you only have one chance out of 37 while playing like this. Sure. The roulette started turning and turning, and soon enough the little ball slowed down to stop inside one slot in particular. And sure enough, that slot was not the number Wait, what? Yay, I won, babe. How is this fucking possible? Oh man, this explains, this is like when you gamble on like impossible odds in Yakuza's gambling, but you win. Yeah, I know, less than 3% is still more than 0, still. She had won a little bit more than 700. She wanted to give it to me, but I didn't accept it. Even if she didn't necessarily work for it, it feels as though she used a lot of her unused luck to win it. She bought us 2 bottles of wine and we finished the night at our hotel. She was on top of me. Oh shit. She looked at me with those passionate eyes of hers. She had a letter opener in her hands. It was lying around on the bedside table, I think. The moment she had noticed it, she took it hastily, as though she just had a great idea. And then she said, "I want to write my name on your body with this, can I?" Okay. I said, "Sure, of course, why not? Let's go." I don't know if you guys got this from the lag. I'm just gonna read it again. Alright. She wanted to write her name on his body, basically. Carelessly, without ever breaking eye contact with her, I looked at her every movement with great interest. She applied pressure on my stomach with the edge of the thing, but it didn't do much good. Her name was there alright, but it would probably disappear in less than 5 minutes. She was too soft. Still, she was satisfied with the result. I wasn't! Oh man, she looked at my stomach contemplatively. I took that opportunity to grab the hand with which she held the letter opener and pushed it hard on my belly. What are you? This is how you do it. If you want to appropriate me, do it properly. Appropriate you? I didn't reply to her. My eyes were enough to convey my thoughts. I don't want to hurt you. If you don't want it, then get off of me. What? She cried. Right then, she cried. But while doing so, she started carving her name on my body thoroughly. Because those weren't tears of sorrow. She was genuinely happy. Or maybe she couldn't believe how sick you are, dude. I don't know, just a guess, you know, the second day. The next day, I woke up with one of those fucking headaches. The ones where you can't even stand straight. Oh! Blood! The first thing I noticed was blood in the bedsheets. At first, I thought she might have been on her period, but soon remembered the reason as I tried to get up on my feet. My stomach was stinging as hell. When I looked at what she's done, I was extremely disturbed. She didn't go easy on me, alright? Not that I would have wanted it any other way. Exactly, Meepy, exactly. You don't understand, like, most of this, but, you know, they just do it. I ought to think of buying rubbing alcohol, or else it will start infecting like shit. The next thing I noticed was my face in the mirror. That guy didn't go easy on me either. My right eye was swollen and I had a nasty bruise on my cheek as well. She looked she too looked rather pathetic herself. Her ass and lower back were quite irritated. Probably because of me keeping on pushing her to the ground the night prior. Yeah, must have been that. Definitely. And I must have been a bit too rough during sex last night because since she had faint blue marks on her forearms. And we're not even talking about the headache she must have had too. So what did we do first thing in the morning? We started drinking. What else? They looked fucking disastrous, so we needed to at least play the part as well. And after a couple of beers, I can proudly say that the headache had subdued considerably. So when it is all said and done, it wasn't such a bad deal in the end. What the fuck? She wanted to go to the Ferris wheel. Yep, there's a Ferris wheel in Las Vegas. Biggest in the world, even. It is called the High Roller Ferris wheel, if I remember correctly. It's a huge thing that takes almost 30 minutes. Simply to make one complete rotation. And even though I tried to explain to her it would be best to ride that kind of attraction during the night, she wouldn't listen to any of it, as if the damn thing would run off on its own or something. In the end, I had no choice but to comply with her nagging demand. Sometimes she can be pretty persuasive, I should say. Not that I actually want to explain why. So her first statement upon seeing the thing from up close was, "Whoa, it was so huge. Might be a bit too scary now that we're actually here." You're not going to pussy out on me here, are you? You were the one who dragged me all the way here, so there's no way I'm going back without seeing what's on top of it. Here? It's probably some clouds and stuff. Let's just go, right? Oh, no, no, no. You won't run away that easily. I put my arm around her hips and bring her really close to me. She's become pretty much my prisoner the moment I get a hold of her. What are you doing? Let go! Let go! I don't want to go. Oh, you sure you want me to let go? She blushes the moment she hears my words, and finally she says faintly as though she's surrendered. No, please keep on holding me like this. In the end, she did write it. But she sat on me the whole time. Since it's the biggest Ferris wheel in the world, the passengers' cars are quite spacious indeed. The advantage being that we can stand inside and walk from one end to another, but the downside is that we're forced to ride it with strangers, and that in and of itself is a deal breaker for me. The idea of even riding it was scaring the shit out of her earlier, but now she's completely engrossed in the view, pointing towards things we've seen on our way over here, or making comments on things she thought was bigger and whatnot. I mean, with the things that are happening, I don't blame you, Sergio. Don't worry though, don't worry. You'll see, you know. You'll see. I wondered if she was even scared to begin with. Maybe it was all just an act to be able to sit on me the whole ride. What a sly woman. Still, she earned it the moment I bought it. Suddenly, her easygoingness, she broke her easygoingness and took a tone she doesn't usually take. Hold on, I'll be back. Oh my god, I took my earbuds off and I feel like I'm fucking deaf right now, jeez. Anyway, I think I'm gonna keep them off for the time being. Let's see. Right, she broke her easygoingness and took a tone she doesn't usually take. Tim, answer me seriously, alright? I'm always serious. What was up with her? I didn't like... God damn it, hold on, let me just fix my chair. What was up with her? I didn't like the way she was bringing things along. She removed her glasses and looked me in the eyes. Do you regret coming all the way here with me? What are you saying, idiot? I was the one who brought you with me. There's no way I would regret any of it. Yeah, but that's because it still hasn't been a week since we ran away. In no time, I'm sure you will change your mind, and when that time comes, you'll hold it against me. Since when do you care what I think of you? She averts her eyes from mine and gazes at the ground instead. She doesn't ignore my senseless words like she normally does. I might have really hurt her this time around. I guess I always had poor tact. Way to go, man! You're only now noticing this. Wow, this is an achievement. I think this is an actual... No, this is not a Japanese game. This was developed by a Canadian studio, I think. As long as I have your name on my stomach, I won't forget the reason we've done this. And if I forget nonetheless, you'll be the one reminding me, right? If only I could. She takes my face in her hands. She traces every turn and corners of it before kissing me dearly. You're so gentle. You're the most gentle man I've ever known. And I've noticed this kindness since the first moment I laid eyes on you. What is she saying? She must be blind, or else I'm the only man she ever looked at. No, I'm a vile and disgusting man. Anyone will sooner or later hate me. Even her. See? At least Tim knows this, you know? I should be the one saying this to her, that she's gentle, that she's perfect, yet I say none of those things. I know the moment I open my mouth, I'll destroy this moment that seems so perfect. Well... Chapter 10. Something more cozy. After the ride, she told me she wanted to change the hotel room. I didn't understand why. Our current one was already more than enough for the little we actually used it for. But again, she pestered me, saying things like, I want something more cozy, and it's with the money I want, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? I didn't really care either way. The only thing that was a bit of a letdown was the fact that we've already paid for our old hotel room for another 2 nights. So it was kind of a waste, and since we didn't have an infinite amount of money, we would sooner or later be confronted with the fact that we're not beyond the law of society. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Silver, but it is a long story to explain by this point. And this is one of those stories that I feel like you have to be there for in the beginning, or else you're gonna be really lost. But we still welcome you, of course. You could watch this. Okay, so let me try to explain it from the beginning. This story is about Tim, the man, the protagonist, I guess, and his deep hatred towards this girl that you see in front of you. He hates her because he feels like at every turn in primary school, right, they met at primary school, and she was with him up until high school. So he hates her because at every turn in school she would best him. He feels like she is humiliating him, like she's trying to prove she's better and all that. So he grows to hate her. He wants to best her. He wants to humiliate her, I guess. But eventually, by the point of story that we're at right now, he kind of loves her, I guess you can say, but he doesn't want to admit it. So we're going from here now. Right, while driving around for a while, she finally said, "There, let's go there." I parked in front of the thing reluctantly and stated the obvious. What the fuck do you mean there? It's a fucking motel! Our old place is way better than this shithole. Yes, it's a really extreme case of tsundere. So yeah. But I would feel much more comfortable in this one. Are you for real? The type of cheap-ass motel you often see on TV where you park right in front of your room. A nest of prostitutes, that's what this place is. There probably isn't even one security camera installed here, or else there would be a lot fewer clients using the damn place. It's not the type of place you would normally call cozy, but then again, I'm supposed to be with a prostitute right now, aren't I? I'll go take care of the room. Wait right here. She says so while getting out of the car. Right, one thing I forgot to mention, Silver. She's working in prostitution, you can say. And, you know, he really didn't like seeing her being used for it. Like, her father was in debt and she was forced to go into this labor to pay it off. So he decided to run away from her. So now they're on the run. So there you go. She says so while getting out of the car. No, I'll come with you. No, that's alright. I want to do this on my own. Do this on her own? What is she babbling about? Is she trying to be more independent or something? Doesn't she realize that she's already 21? Oh, what does that have to do with anything? I decide to close my mouth and wait. Nothing good would come from arguing with her. She returned after 5 minutes and we entered our new room. It was pretty plain, like I imagined it would be. I put down the little we brought with us on the floor and she instantly says, "Oh shit, Sergio, man, I was waiting for your reaction, but okay. At least we still have Meepy and Break Leon and Joel, I think. And everyone else that's lurking. Every one of you lurkers, I just want you to know that I appreciate your presence. Thank you." Alright. Alright, Sergio, please do watch the ending and let me know what you think. Alright? Your opinion is so valuable to me. Let's go to a bar or something. It's on me. Oh shit. I have the keyboard on the chat, hold on. But we've literally just arrived. But I want to drink. I know you want to as well. Let's have some fun like yesterday. Sure. Let's have fun every day from now on. I wanted to say those words. I wonder why I forced myself not to tell them. I wonder why I always force myself to do things a certain way. Oh, next chapter, chapter 11. The best day of her life. We drank and later that night we danced. We went to a club this time around. I was not a good dancer at all, very awkward indeed, but she didn't care. She smiled regardless. She would always smile no matter what. And it was a beautiful night. Beautiful night, something I would rarely even notice before then. This was the best days of my entire life. Okay, again, English sentences, wait. This week was the best days of my entire life. This week had the best days of my entire life. Man, okay. She pointed out while moving close to me. We were on the dance floor, but didn't move with the crowd. We were standing there, looking at each other, moving slowly while eating each other's eyes. Her eyes were things out of this world. This does look like the place where you would say these kinds of things. I looked around. There were lots of beautiful colors flashing. The music was moving us without our consent, and the ambience gave the impression that we're on top of the world. It was a beautiful night indeed. I'm not talking about this place, she said without blinking. Nor am I talking about this city. I'm talking about you. Only you. Do you believe me? Yeah, I do. How could I not with those eyes of hers? Good. She kissed me deeply for a long, long time. She then muttered out something I had a hard time understanding because of the music. But you shouldn't. Oh, wait, what? Okay, let's read that again. I'm talking about you, only you do believe me. Yeah, I do. Good. But you should. Oh, man. What did you say? She touched my lower abdomen. Nothing. She hugged me for the most part of the night. I was happy there was no accident tonight. No shouting, no pushing. I was glad. How stupid I was not understanding that the night was yet to be over. What's up with that missing W's with was it to be over? We were so drunk we had no other choice but to finish the night at our old hotel room. It was conveniently a lot closer to the club we were at than the atrocious motel room she rented earlier. See that then? Then, it should be then with A. It was when she was taking a shower. I noticed something on the ground, a business card or something. I unconsciously took it roughly into my hands and studied it. It was man's, and on the back it was written, "Call me." Already I was pissed. I didn't know why. She got out of the shower and dressed up, and I then instantly confronted her. What the fuck is this? She glanced at the piece of paper with no reaction. Shit. I don't know. What is it? Don't fuck with me. It's written, "Call me" at the back. Who is he? I have no idea. Okay, pay close attention to her face right now, okay? Henry. I read the name on the card. I noticed a slight reaction on her part. See that? This is one thing that I actually like about this visual novel. There are like slight effects that, you know, have all the impact. So you know him? Well, she starts off. There was a man who tried to talk to me while you were buying us a drink. He told me his name was Henry, but I didn't want to talk to him, even less take his card. Always conveniently while I'm away. Then what is this then? I throw the card at her. I don't know. He must have put it in my coat pocket or something. You know I wouldn't do that, babe. I started walking towards the exit. See that? The black, like, fading in from the right, that's like him turning away towards the door. I start walking towards the exit. Tim? Where are you going, Tim? None of your business. No, wait, Tim, you're not thinking of finding that guy, are you? And what if I am? She instantly tries to get in between me and the door. Seeing that she can't pass in front of me, she quickly decides to hug me tightly from behind instead. Get away from me. No, don't leave me like this. This was supposed to be a night for the both of us. Don't you understand they're all making fun of you? I can't let... I don't care. Let's drink. Let's have sex. Let's have some fun together. That's the only thing that matters to me. Don't you understand that tonight is very important to me? Is she trying to control me? She is, isn't she? Trying to make me feel as though I'm so important to her. Then all of a sudden, a thought crossed my mind. There was no logic behind it. The booze must have been added. Yet I was so compelled to think it was true. Is that why? I asked her as though she knew what I was referring to. Why what? Well, that turned into a serious face quickly. Is that why you rented the other room at the motel to meet with some other man? That's why you pushed me to drink past my limit all night? Huh? Wait, no, there's no way I would do such a thing. You keep telling me this, but is that even true? You're a prostitute after all, aren't you? I don't even know you. Oof. I don't know her. I thought I did, but there's no way such a girl would love a loser such as myself. The moment those words leave my mouth, I see it in her eyes. I see that I've hurt her more than I ever did. Still, her hold on me never weakened, even then. It irritates me to such an extent. I said, get off of me. Oh shit, she refuses still, so I shake her off violently. The result, she hits her head hard on the right wall next to us. She falls to the ground pitiably. Tim, what the fuck did you do? Tim! Oh no. There was a bit of a lag, but if he didn't get to read it, he pushed her and she hit her head. I froze stiff. I didn't mean to hurt her. You might want to control your anger then, buddy. Jeez. I instantly look back at her to make sure she's okay. Are you alright? I need to help her. Those were my thoughts until... I'm fine, thanks. She flashes a bright smile, even though she looks quite in pain. I have no right to help her. I try again to direct myself to the door. But she gets hold of my leg in return. Please don't go. I try to walk nonetheless, but she puts her everything to it. The thought of shaking her violently almost became a reality. But then I remembered what I just did. So instead, I just dropped down on the floor and sat right next to her, defeated. She lies her head on me as if nothing had happened. Yet, I still felt anger. What a kid I am. Later on, I drank the bottle of champagne all by myself and passed out in front of the door, thinking of blocking her way if she ever had the thought of trying to leave. Oh, next chapter. 12. Something to realize sooner. The next day I felt disgusted. Oh, hold on. Fuck. Hold on. Oh. There we go. The next day I felt disgusted with myself, not because I was hungover or anything of the sort. No. The moment my eyes opened, I knew. I knew I did something wrong, but I didn't remember all that much. Probably the effect of alcohol, but I knew nonetheless. Why was I always acting so childishly? Even if she did want to see other men, who was I to try and stop her? I knew all along, right, that she's a prostitute. She's been sleeping with men before me, and will after me. Yet, I always am so... Jealousy is a byproduct of love, or so they say. I should apologize. If I apologize and explain myself, then maybe I can salvage a bit of this relationship we have together. It was only when I laid my eye upon her that I understood that I went too far. Oh shit. She was doing something for breakfast. She wasn't the type to cook, but so what she was doing was pretty straightforward. But when she turned around to ask me if I wanted eggs with my toast, that's when I noticed. Was I the one the one who did this to you? She unconsciously touched her forehead by my words. And looked down on her feet right after. No, baby, that wasn't you. I remember having pushed her yesterday, but was it really that strongly? On her forehead there was a nasty black mark, and on the side of her lips there was a bruise too. And I also noticed that she had difficulty walking, even though she was trying so hard to hide it. Then... oh my god. Dude. I have no idea how to start a fire myself. You guys don't either? Oh man. I would volunteer to help after I'm done, which I'm almost done. But oh man. I have an idea. Google is your friend. Look up on Google how to start a fire. But in all seriousness, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just gonna try to finish this so I can come over real soon. Then I remembered those voices inside of me, pushing me, almost pleading with me to destroy her. I went too far. Now I realize it. All of this, we can't go on like this anymore. If we continue even for a night longer, I might really kill her. Even though I brought her here to protect her from them, I now realize that I was the one she should have been protected from. I need this to end. Maybe if I act quickly enough. Maybe if it isn't too late. Maybe it isn't too late. Where is your phone? Oh, it's actually ending way sooner than I think it is. My phone? Why would you need my phone? I need your phone now. I don't have it with me. It must be with the things we brought to the motel. Then I need to go find it. Wait, we can do that later, right? No, right now. I might not have the courage later. I reach for my keys, but she embraces me tightly before I do. This actually surprises me enough to lose my balance and fall on the bed. She falls on top of me, proceeds to kiss every inch of my face without end. Every time saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I need to go. Yet she didn't budge. I love you, I love you, I love you. I decided that this situation will lead us nowhere. I can't show affection, not now of all times. Oh man. Okay, that was a good one, Ahmed. God. I really want to help, but I don't know how to do it. Not wanting to hurt her any further than I already did, I get up to my feet while lifting her and keeping her close in my arm. It's like a piggyback, but in reverse. She has her face on my chest, and I can feel my shirt getting wet from her tears. I have her ass in my hands to support her, and I'm actually kind of happy with the situation since I very much like her ass. Wow. Way to break the tension, man. I walked her all the way to the car in this position, not minding the breakfast she did for the both of us. She didn't want to let go of me, but everything has an end, doesn't it? The ride to the motel was a silent one. She was looking at the sky, completely devoid of expression. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying your tea. What is happening to her? Is there something she doesn't want me to see at the motel? Not that I really mind. She has every right. I can no longer try to control her. I can no longer. We got out of the car, and surprisingly she led the way. She unlocked the door and opened it for me. As soon as we entered, I directed myself to our bags. I took both our phones and walked back to her. Sorry, I need to do something alone. Wait for me here, would you? She didn't answer. She looked at me with those eyes that I almost forgot about. The darkness met mine. I tried to ignore her and pass by her, but she didn't let me. Move. Say, do you love me? She finally asked it. She never did before, but now she did. I don't have time for this. Answer me. Do you love me? I said move! I lifted my hand at her mechanically and she didn't cower, I think. She didn't blink. She didn't fear me at all. It didn't work. Well, sure it didn't. It didn't because I would never hit her. Do you love me? I didn't have a choice, did I? Yes, I do. A dark smile. Enough to throw your life away from me. Yes. I say with complete certainty. I see. Her smile disappears. I try to move again, but she blurts out something unexpected the moment I do so. Let's go back to the other hotel room. Let me have one last night. Then you can do whatever you want. Sorry, but I can't. What I'm about to do is because I love you, Cassandra. She bites her lips hard before returning her eyes on me. She tried to smile but couldn't, which created this expression in between happiness and complete despair.